The running route. The river path didn't feel dangerous. It never had. Even at night, it was considered one of the safest places in the city. Wide enough for cyclists. Well lit. Open. The kind of place people trusted without thinking twice. That night, the trust was misplaced. Nina Carter left her apartment at 8:18 p.m. She wore the same clothes she always did on her evening runs. Black leggings, a light jacket, a reflective band around her left arm. She checked her phone once before stepping outside. No new messages. She locked the door, pulled the handle to make sure it was secure, and walked down the stairs. Nothing unusual. Nothing that suggested this would be the last time she left that building. Nina liked routine. Her friends described her as careful, organized, predictable. She ran the same route 4 nights a week, same distance, same pace. She believed routine made things safer, and most of the time, she was right. Her footsteps echoed softly as she reached the street. Cars passed occasionally, their headlights washing over her for a second before disappearing again. She began to run. Her breathing settled into rhythm. The watch on her wrist tracked everything, her pace, her heart rate, her movement. At that moment, all the numbers were normal. At 8:33 p.m., a security camera outside a convenience store recorded Nina jogging past. She didn't look stressed. Her shoulders were relaxed. She wasn't checking behind her. She didn't slow down. She looked like someone finishing the first half of a familiar route. 20 seconds later, the same camera captured another person, a man. He wore a dark hoodie pulled low over his head. The camera angle wasn't good enough to capture his face clearly. But what stood out wasn't how he looked. It was how he moved. He wasn't running, he wasn't rushing. He walked quickly, steadily, as if he already knew where he was going. By 8:40, Nina reached the footbridge. This was the narrowest section of the path. Metal railings on both sides, trees blocking the view from nearby streets. Water moving slowly beneath the bridge. One street lamp near the entrance flickered, not completely broken, just unstable enough to create shadow. A brief moment where visibility dropped, a blind spot. At 8:41 p.m., Nina's smartwatch recorded a sudden spike in heart rate. Not the gradual increase from running. This was sharp, instant. The kind of spike associated with fear. At 8:42, the movement data became erratic. Her stride pattern broke. The steady rhythm disappeared. At 8:43, her steps stopped completely. At 8:44, the watch recorded no pulse. 4 minutes. That was the entire incident. No prolonged chase, no drawn-out struggle, just 4 minutes. Later that night, police officers searched the trail. Flashlights swept over gravel, grass, and tree roots. They checked benches and pathways. They found nothing, until one officer stopped. On a bench near the footbridge stood a water bottle. Upright, clean, dry. The detective knew immediately. People drop things when they panic. They don't place them carefully. This bottle had been set down. Whoever had been there had time, control. At dawn, Nina's body was discovered in a drainage channel near the river. She hadn't been moved far, just far enough to avoid immediate detection. Her clothing was intact. There were no defensive wounds, no signs of a prolonged struggle. The medical examiner's conclusion was clear. Cause of death, blunt force trauma to the head. One strike, precise, forceful. Whoever did this knew where to hit. The detective studied the area carefully. The distance from the path, the angle of the body, the way she had been positioned. This wasn't chaos, it was intention. The timeline became the center of the case. Why hadn't patrols found her during the night search? The answer was simple. She died quickly, quietly, no scream, no disturbance. And the place where she was left sat just outside the usual sweep of a flashlight. You wouldn't see it unless you knew where to look. Then there was the phone. Nina's phone was missing. That mattered. Phones record mistakes, locations, calls, messages, photos. If someone removes a phone, it's because they're afraid of what it might reveal. The detective accessed Nina's cloud accounts. Her location sharing stopped at 8:45 p.m. But something else stood out. At 9:03, someone attempted to log into her email from a device she had never used. Not her phone, not her computer. Someone was trying to take control. Cameras near the river entrance showed a dark sedan driving slowly along the parallel road. The vehicle paused briefly near the bridge entrance. Not long, just enough to wait. Then it moved on. Traffic records later showed the same car appearing on a license plate reader less than a mile away at 8:52. Still within the 4-minute window, still moving calmly. Witnesses remembered almost nothing. No screams, no argument. But one woman walking her dog recalled a sound. A car door closing, not slammed, not rushed, just closed. Quietly. The detective returned to the bridge alone. He knelt near the damp soil by the railing. That's when he saw it. A tiny shard of glass, barely visible, pressed into the mud, a fragment of a phone screen. Forensics recovered it. Under magnification, they found something more. A partial fingerprint, incomplete, smudged. Not enough to identify anyone on its own, but not useless. The investigation shifted to nearby businesses, warehouses, garages, places where gloves were common, places where people worked late. That led them to Logan Pierce, 28 years old, works at a vehicle detailing garage, minor fraud arrests, nothing violent, drives a dark sedan. Logan said he left work at 8:15, said he went straight home, said he never went near the river. His voice never changed. Records contradicted him. His car appeared near the bridge. His phone was silent during the critical window. And inside his apartment, detectives found printed pages. Nina's name, her address, her running schedule, handwritten, planned. In the trunk of Logan's car, beneath the spare tire, they found a cloth bag. Inside were pieces of Nina's phone, cracked, battery removed, SIM card missing. There was no confession, but there didn't need to be. The pattern was clear. At trial, the defense attacked everything. No eyewitness, no murder weapon, no confession. But the detective had one final detail, a toll record. Logan crossed a bridge at 9:06 p.m. After Nina was already dead. He hadn't gone home. He had returned to the river. To move her, the jury understood. Logan Pierce was convicted. Weeks later, the detective walked the river path alone. The flickering lamp had been replaced. The shadows were gone, but the path felt different. Because now he knew. It doesn't take much. 4 minutes, one blind spot, one decision, dark evidence, case closed, but the route remains.